Okay, looks like my technical issues have started and we didn't get the intro. Welcome everyone. My name is Paul from Refocus Coaching, and this is where I talk with dads in business about how they manage their energy and focus and their health while spinning lots of plates. And today I'm delighted to welcome my guest Jordan. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Paul. Yeah, my name's Jordan Bryant. I'm a father and stepfather of 7 between me and my partner. I'm also a head coach of Panthers kickboxing in Patchway in Bristol. I also run a circuit class a couple of times a week. And in my day-to-day, I am head of FM for Loomis Living, which is a student accommodation owner and operator across the UK and Europe.
Awesome, thanks for the intro. And just for the sake of everybody, I've known Jordan for a little while, and actually I used to work in the student accommodation game, but we never actually came across each other in that professional world, bizarrely. So anyway, so yeah, awesome to have you on, and a great example of a busy dad, to say the least, because you've got a lot of stuff going on. So these conversations really are to talk exactly to people like you about how the heck you keep it all together, frankly. So when it comes to managing your energy, managing your health, keeping on top of things, is there anything sort of specifically over the last few years that you can think back to where you've had to actually work on something to try and improve things, or where you've taken action to kind of improve something?
I think this happens with every person, not just men. No, women are the same. When you're doing so many things, and then as you get a bit older, you pick up niggles and injuries, and if you're not taking care of yourself, that persists a little bit. And I've been exercising for over 40 odd years now, and that does have a wear and tear on your body, and unless you start looking after yourself. So I think I've learned to just reflect a little bit on why I'm in pain or why that niggle is, and just stop and adjust your training slightly. If I'm at the gym and I decide to go on the weights, I realize that it makes no difference if I try and lift heavy or not. All I'm going to do is feel worse for probably about a week. So it's all about realizing and listening to your body a little bit, because I think the frustration's then kicked in, and when you're getting frustrated at something that you think you're used to doing, then the negative thoughts kick in. I can't do it anymore. And then so I just try to listen to your body. That's what I've done the last few years. Listen to your body as you get a bit more mature, and adapt slightly, but still trying to keep that momentum going in the same place. So I think and I think that will happen the older I get, and the people I work with or talk to, I'd be advising them the same way, as listen to your body. People come in and they train me all the time. They've got a niggle, and I say, I can't feel what you're feeling. So listen to your body. If you need now, I can adjust the technique or the exercise you're doing, and just listen to where you feel, and let me know. What I know. If you don't know, you're kind of pushing somebody and trying to get the best out of them. Like, they're kind of gritting through pain, and there's pain when you're trying to push them to improve their stamina or fitness, but there's pain when they're physically going to damage themselves, and you've got to be able to balance that. So I think the biggest thing I've learned is to listen to my own body.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome point. I don't think in all the conversations I've had that's ever come up, and you're 100% right. Especially the sort of the people I tend to talk to are guys in their sort of 30s, 40s, maybe later. I'm 52 now, and hell yeah, I've got to listen to my body, because I could be broken by a workout for a week and or longer. So I think that's really important, actually. And again, to your point, if someone's not telling you, if they're coming along to a session, be that kickboxing or be that doing the circuits in the gym, and they've got a niggle and they don't tell you, and they just sort of try and power through, it compounds, doesn't it? And then you're worsening things, and potentially you could put yourself out of action for longer, or cause some serious damage. So
exactly that. No, I have a joke in kickboxing and the circuit class when we have a bit of camaraderie there, and when someone said, "Oh no, I'm not feeling it today," or "got a headache," or doing this, I joke and say, "Did you see on the door? There's a sign above the door saying no sympathy room." And you have a joke, but then what I do in a quiet way of saying, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a laugh, but are you okay? And that's the most important thing, is you don't know what they're feeling. And some people that come and train, they are fitness fanatics, and I'm just a part of their fitness journey, and
Mm.
they want to be pushed more. But there's still a line of knowing whether that's just them with their standard just aches and pains because they've been exercising non-stop, or there's an injury. And
Yeah.
that's, I think, you get when you people regularly come and train with you, that's when you pick up on when things are maybe different in the way their form is, or their effort, for example. And you can pick up when it's new. You've got to trust someone to communicate. And I think realistically, when someone's new, and the same as yourself, you express that something, they need to be really open, with their diet, with everything they work with you. I need someone to come in. If I'm going to teach them a technique, whether it's through kickboxing or through exercise and circuit classes, I need them to tell me at least some of the basics, so I know the level and how I'm going to share with what information and technique. And with otherwise, you're just going to potentially, they're not going to come back. They're going to think he's pushed me too hard, he pushed me well enough. And so, but I do believe a lot of people don't feel confident to say that. No, they don't feel they can open up by saying, I'm not really good at this, or actually I'm really good at that. And it's rare you find someone overconfident. Normally they come into you because they need some help, need some support.
Yeah. There's a bit of a stigma, I think, isn't there? Especially if it's in a public setting. There's other people, maybe people they don't know, maybe people they sort of know but not very well. For them to actually say out loud, I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know how to, or I can't do it, or I'm restricted by this thing. It can be, I guess, it's a psychological thing, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing is, there's a generational thing there. Adults 20 plus years old, they may communicate that they don't know how to do something. The teenagers that come in through kickboxing, they don't. They just, and then straight away it turns into, I can't do that, and then they're negative on themselves. They're blaming themselves. That, and it's like, well, no, you just started doing that. You've never done that before. It's a bit more challenging than stuff we taught you before, and they're hard on themselves. But I think that's a modern society where they feel they're going to be judged, and you're in a safe environment, regardless what that is. And I love the fact that we try and create that safe environment where we're in the kickboxing or through the circuit class, for example. But yeah, the more, and if I could offer anyone any advice who's going to a new class or a personal trainer, is just be really transparent, because give them more information and they can guide you and help you along your journey. And if you hide and cut corners, they don't know that. They don't know. So talk to them, help them, and then because their job is to help you. And most people I know who coach or support people in various different ways, they get more of a buzz knowing that they've got an input from you, and then they can help the output at the same time.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, it's a really good point. And to your point earlier about listening to your body, it kind of, I obviously train people in a room as well, and sometimes somebody will walk in on a morning, and I've planned we're going to hit a few PBs for them, and they're like, yeah, we're really up for it, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
and they're like completely puzzled as to why. And then other days they come in and they're not really feeling it, and they'll smash out the heaviest lift ever. And when we drill down into it, it's usually something daft, like they've had 2 nights rough sleep, or their food yesterday was a bit unusual or a bit different from normal. So these things are all kind of intrinsically linked as well, I think.
100%. And I feel exactly the same. And sometimes I can be enthusiastic about going to certain, and I try and join in every session. It helps me lead by example if I'm like a station ahead of everybody else. But there's times I feel very lethargic, and I think, what? I think I must be looking stupid in front of everyone. And I feel like you're out of breath, or your muscles are aching more, and you're thinking, no, I can fly through these. But you're right. It's, what did I do yesterday? Did I sleep well? No, it's surprising. I try not to overthink it, because I think if I'm doing something, I'm pushing myself and I'm achieving what I need to. I could have just said, I'll give it a rest, or I could have just said, I'm just going to stand in front of you and point and tell you what to do today. But actually, I've decided to join in. So at the end of it, regardless how I thought during the exercise, I'm glad I did it. And I think you're right. The people that will come in and expect results, and other ones will be pleasantly surprised. And then I didn't think I'd lift that or do that or do as many as that. And I get it. Just on the weekend, we were doing a very basic circuit, and it was doing it to times, and even just doing it, fast, jumping jacks, the star jumps, and the ladies went, "Oh my God, I got more!" And I didn't ask her, time it. How many did you get? She was doing it herself, and I got more, and she was surprised herself. And you're right. Sometimes you can come in and just think we're going to do it, and it goes to plan. But other times it doesn't. And you're right. It's the things that you haven't really considered, like your lack of sleep, or you're stressed, or you're thinking about something else, work related or family or financial. There's always something that is going to divert your mindset at times, which means it might affect how your output is.
No, 100%. Yeah, I know. I have a lot of interesting conversations with men about hormones, because oftentimes hormones, in inverted commas, men think, well, that doesn't affect me. That's hormones are something that affects women and not me. But actually, everything in our body is managed and controlled by hormones. They're always moving and they're always in flux. And underslept affects your hunger and your satiety signals. Eating stodgy foods affects your energy output. Being stressed at work affects your cortisol, which can then affect your ability to go and be mobile and move. There's all these things underlying under the surface that you can't see, but you can feel. And I think that, to your point, is it's about trying to tune into some of those signals as well and understand what's going on there.
Yeah, and that goes back to the beginning when I said listen to your body. No, it's not just I've got an injury. There's other things, there's other factors that make you feel or act, say things a certain way, because your body's, it's a complicated beast.
It most certainly is, yeah. And there's if you look at, there's a lot of influencers obviously out there online, especially in terms of fitness. So you go really extreme and look at someone like Dave Goggins, who would just be like, fucking do it anyway. There's an argument for just doing something anyway, but I think if you're feeling off for whatever reason and you can't quite put your finger on it, go and start doing the thing, but do it in a mindful way. Don't do it distracted by something else. Just be fully focused on that thing, whatever it is, and do it mindfully, because during that, let's say it's exercise, you'll soon know if this is the right thing to do or not. And then you either take your foot off the gas or you just bin it and go and do something else, Exactly. Or you find, actually, that's what I needed. I needed that lift. It's given me a lift, and now I feel good, and I'm going to keep going. So I think that as well, to your point, is the listening.
I agree with you, and you touched about certain influences, and there's lots of different characters that you can come across and follow, and I honestly believe that they all offer something, and they're not for everybody. There's female coaches that females will just straight away divert to because they feel comfortable or they can relate to. You offer for dads, but you can get snippets. Now I was looking into the menopause a few years ago, because I had lots of ladies who were coming to my class that were of a certain age, and I didn't want to be flipping with my comments. I wanted to understand just a little bit more of their moods, the way they were feeling, and why. So I just started following a couple of skilled doctors who post things and share information, and it helped me. I'm never going to be an expert in it, but it's just to be a bit empathetic to those feelings and understandings, and it works. It does work. And I think influencers, there's a place for them all. We can all criticize certain people in this world who share certain things, and you see a positive message in something, I guarantee.
No, definitely. So when it comes to, when I work with my clients, I work on my 4 pillars, which you know about. So I work on nutrition, movement, sleep or recovery, and then mindset, kind of how your attitude towards things and how organized you are. So obviously, you're into fitness, so I think we've probably got that bit covered off. So when you're looking at your nutrition, what's your approach to that kind of thing? And is that something you're mindful of then when you're looking at how you're performing as well?
So it's a difficult one, because when I don't think I've really had a rest, like a long-term rest from exercise for like say over 40 years. So I've always maintained a certain level of fitness. So I'm aware of certain foods that aren't going to agree with me. I'm aware if I continue to eat. You go on an all-inclusive holiday, and you're thinking this is fantastic, but as the week goes on, you are feeling more uncomfortable. You are thinking, no, because you're eating all this food, and and it has an impact. But you're there. You got to let your hair down. You got to switch off a little bit. And I've carried a little bit of that into just my day-to-day life. Like, I'm not overly strict on, if I want something, if I want a treat, I'll have a treat.
Yeah.
Do I have a treat every single day? That's my choice. And if I choose to do that, then it's going to impact on me, the way I feel, the way I sleep, the way I exercise. So I balance it. I don't take it too seriously. Years and years ago, I used to compete, many moons ago, and be a bit mindful of my diet then, because we had to make a certain weight. But other than that, I go on how I feel. I'm aware that now I'll be speaking to my partner, and we're saying what we're going to have the next couple of days, and it's like, let's something really healthy. And every now and again, no, I was like, I'm going to cook. I'd love to cook, so let's cook something. I don't care if it's naughty. We worked hard, we've done exercise, and it's almost like balancing it up, because life can be so strict at times. And I say, like I said, I'm fortunate that because I've exercised and maintained to a certain level, I've not been in the position where I've had to be strict for long periods of time to get myself to somewhere to then enjoy the treats at the same time. And it is about like that balance and happiness. I don't want to be sad. A few friends of mine, one of them, really close friend of mine, was an ex-professional boxer, and I remember talking to him through his training camps, and those 3 or 4 weeks up to fight day, when he's trying to make weight, he was on such bland food. He didn't enjoy the actual build up to the fight, because he just wasn't enjoying his diet. It was so routine, and he's been doing it for 10, 12 years by that point. And you look at that and you think, life's too short to be too strict with it. But as long as you understand your limits and you know the reason why, I feel a bit uncomfortable, or that couldn't really get through that, I had to stop halfway, whatever you're doing. Well, that's down to you. So you hold yourself accountable, is what I'm saying, and that's what I do. I hold myself accountable with nutrition. I like to cook. I like to eat healthy things. I like to balance it, but I also like to be naughty with it at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's good. And that's the same for me. It's all about balance, essentially, because and I think one of the important messages to kind of get across is that actually being active and keeping your fitness maintained to a level, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to try and be elite or professional level or anything, but just incorporating movement and exercise on a regular basis, that gives you some wiggle room. So a lot of the people I work with will look at their typical nutrition through a week, and then I'll look at their typical movement for a week, and the energy balance is just way off, to the point where they're consuming more in terms of energy and food than they're outputting in terms of moving and living. So that sort of person needs to have a little bit more strictness and a little bit more awareness of what they're doing. Whereas actually, if you incorporate regular exercise, especially for men, if you're lifting some weights and getting some resistance training in, because it makes you just metabolically a better machine, you've got more wiggle room then in what you eat. So you can have a bit more joy. You can have a few more of the naughty things. But there's still some balance, I think, isn't there? And you're sort of saying that too. And I think if someone was trying to be strict, I don't know, let's say the doctor's told them they're pre-diabetic, they're going to have to be really strict. So they're going to probably say, well, I'll be like 90% of the time I'm going to be on it. 10% of the time I can have some treats and things. Whereas because of the lifestyle you keep, you're more 75-25, and then that's an easy balance.
Yeah, and don't beat myself up about it. No, that's the biggest thing is, you maintain a certain level to then have nice choices. And life's far too short. So if you worked hard, then reward yourself, and that's okay. It really is okay. But I get that. No, when you get someone like who diabetic and they have to be quite strict for quite a few months to get that right. And if they can maintain it, then you can go back to a little bit of that other life, as long as you keep focused on what, and you're only going to help yourself. That's the no. I always said about the best version of you, from health, from your well-being, emotionally, financially, whatever you can do to give the best version of you means you can give the best version to your loved ones and friends. So look after you, and they get the best of you, whether that's through your work environment, for your family, friends, whatever that is. Regardless if they share your vision for how healthy and happy you want to be, but they get the best of you. So just look after you, because you're going to stick around, hopefully, fingers crossed, a lot longer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's interesting as you're saying that. I can almost recall almost every conversation I have with a client at the beginning is sort of the reason they want to do something or make a change is usually it's related to a number. It's like it's a number on the scale, it's a number on a tape measure, it's a size in clothing, it's something like that. But actually, what's really going on is they've got family, they've got children, they want more energy, they want to be there when they're swimming on holiday, they want to be out and about with them, keeping up with them in the park. Those are the actual real goals, and the real reason for sort of improving your health is because of being able to enjoy that time, which is so precious. And I think, you have to have some joy in food, otherwise what the bloody hell's the point? So I don't, nothing's off the table as far as I'm concerned when I work with people. What we do is just look at how much is on the table as opposed to the thing that's on the table.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're getting carried away daily, then you're getting carried away. Simple as that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. So it's interesting. So you've got a nice balance going on there, and I think there's a bit of yin and yang to this as well, because when your body's healthy and moving and active, it's doing better with the nutrition that you're feeding it anyway. The whole thing just works in unison. If you then go the other way and you start getting a bit lazy, or you're busy with work and you're sitting still a lot more, and then you're getting lazy with your nutrition as well, and that becomes a little bit substandard, both of them are just going to drag you down.
Bad habits. That's it. Is. And then one thing rolls onto the other, like you say, it drags it down, and then your own mentality. You're then creating excuses of why this, why that. I've got to do this, rather than, well, you haven't got to look after yourself. You haven't got to do the best for you. And it's quite easy to get in a bad habit, and which is each of your job is to try and get people to realize that you can quite quickly get some good habits in very quickly that will then create a positive effect for the next one. So I totally agree with that. 100% totally agree with that. You maintain a balance, and you should be okay. Just don't go on an all-inclusive for like 4 or 5 weeks, because you're stuffed there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The all-inclusive holiday, it's the ultimate goal, isn't it, to get one? And then when you're there, you're just an absolute pig.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Why have I had 6 meals today?
Yeah, because I want to get my money's worth, but you go home, a stone heavier and feeling shit.
Yeah, I do try and I know some people might watch this and go, "You're boring, get," kind of thing. But I do try and work out. I'm an early bird. I get up early, and I do chores and routines well before everyone else is up. And I'm still the same on holiday, even though I'm relaxed and enjoying myself. I'm up, so I might do a workout. So that makes me feel even better. Going, I've worked out, and everyone's still in bed. This is brilliant. We can carry on. But if I choose not to, again, that's my choice. It's okay. Yeah. I'm not forcing anybody else to do it. I'm not dragging all the children and the missus out of bed going, well, come on, we're gonna have a workout. No, relax. This is your holiday too. It's how I choose to just unwind and go, now I'm set for the day, and I feel good about it.
Yeah. And this is where I come back to, that whole, the mindset piece. For me, the mindset around your health is your attitude and your organization, and like you said about habits. So when you create a system like that, so that it's just habitual that you are going to be there most of the time, not every single day, but most of the time you're going to be in the right place, then of course, why not do it on holiday? Absolutely. And you're right, I can recall holidays where I've gone and I'm in the pool swimming lengths in the morning, and the only people I see is the cleaners or people
Yeah,
putting out towels on the sunbeds.
yeah,
And there's
exactly.
me bombing up and down the pool with my goggles on.
Yeah, get it. I get it. But you've chosen to do that, and
Yeah,
it
yeah,
hasn't impacted on family time, nothing like that. And that's the balance.
yeah,
You've
yeah,
made time for you, and you still have all your time
yeah,
for them. And I think that's so important as well. Really
yeah.
important.
Yeah, and it's just not part of the normal routine. But
Yeah,
it baffles me a little bit to think you've got a normal routine, and then when you go on holiday to enjoy yourself, the whole thing crumbles. I think yes, you're going to relax. Yes, you're going to eat different food.
definitely.
You know,
Yeah,
but you can still keep some of those basic habits going.
yeah. And sometimes if you don't, the people that haven't done it for so long, they then find it hard when they come back from holiday, and
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden they're weeks, months down the line, and they're feeling a bit,
yeah,
insecure about what they wear or anything like. And that happens with getting yourself out of that routine. But if your mentality is, I know I'm going to go and do it, and I'm choosing to, then you're
yeah,
okay. But I know everyone's different, and I know I'm same as you. You know, when I'm not just someone that will do nothing for months and go, I'm just going to pick it up and be really good at something straight away. That doesn't work that way. You know, you have to
yeah,
progress and build up to something. But you maintain it, you should
yeah.
should be okay.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing. One of the important messages to get across is that it's never too late to turn things around,
Agreed.
and
Yeah,
maintaining a state of being is easier than getting there. So, yes, you might have to do some work for a bit to get into a bit better place, but then maintaining it is actually going to be much easier because you
definitely.
build in those
You've
habits
got
and
to
that.
work hard to get there, and if you're
Yeah,
starting from the bottom, you've got to trust the people you're the specialists you're talking to, and
yeah,
be honest with yourself, and have a real achievable targets. You can have that wish list of where you want to be, but where's the short win? Where's the short win? And that's the stuff I talk about all the time with people when they want to be a certain weight or a certain size, and I'm like, I'll tell you what I will
yeah,
do. 6 weeks time, I'll be making you feel better. You'll be
yeah,
feeling better. Let's go from that first of all. And sometimes people they go straight into their diet and exercise, and they feel it's just too overwhelming. Well, okay, well, how about doing a bit of exercise and then have a couple of days eating well and see how that goes, and just slowly phase it in. Now, I know
yeah,
that you're the specialist when it comes to nutrition, but that's my normal advice: is let's phase it in. Let's do a few things and see how that feels, and then build off it. Little wins, push forward.
yeah. No, definitely. Yeah, little wins, little steps, and then
Yeah,
just bit of consistency and actually measuring it in some way. And I don't mean on the scales or anything, but in how you feel. Maybe write
definitely.
down 3 words at the end of the day, every day, how you feel for 2 weeks, and make some changes, and then
That's really
those words
important.
might
Yeah,
reflect how you're feeling. And yeah,
really, really important. I don't know. My Apple Watch. I was a guy for years in our industry where you're permanently looking at reports and data and dashboards,
mm,
and I was always thinking, detail, really? And I actually realized when it comes to my health, I'm so into the detail, and these Apple Watches keep
mm,
me. They hold me accountable, and yet I set the targets, so I could change that at any point. But I like the fact it's pushing me. I like the fact that I haven't hit a target, and I think, well, do you know what? I'm going to do a bit more,
yeah,
and that's great. And that's the whole point. I've set myself that challenge, and every month with Apple, they set you a new challenge, or daily ones, whatever that looks like. And as long as you know realistically that you're trying and putting it in, I think you will benefit from it.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm an Apple Watch wearer as well, and
Yeah,
I'm frequently my Instagram stories are frequently me walking somewhere because I haven't quite moved enough that day. So,
yeah.
but I know as well that quite a few people that watch those go, oh yeah, I need to go and get a
That's
walk, and then they
exact.
go out and get a
That's
walk.
exactly right. You and I joined up a few months ago doing this, didn't
Yeah,
we? And
yeah,
I like the fact that if you're seeing other people do things, you think, yeah, I've got to get from bum, go. And that's the whole point of this
yeah,
is to try and get inspiration by other people. And sometimes they haven't got to say anything to you. They could post
yes,
something and look at it, and you go, I'm going to go do that. And it
yeah,
does. And that's the whole point. And as long as it's positive. Now, if
yeah,
someone's doing something great, you see silly comments and you just let that go. Don't get affected by it. But there is someone who may not let you know. but you could be inspiring them to get off their bum and go and do something, and that's the most important thing. And you may never ever have a conversation with those people whatsoever, but they know you've inspired them, and that could pass it on, and that's the gift. That's the gift of just keep being consistent. That's the idea.
Well, and this is one of the things. This is a great point that you're making, and this is one of the points I make to my dads that I work with, is because their kids, no matter what age they are, and no matter what they say, they're watching as well, and they're going to emulate you. So if you're sat on the sofa with your feet up, stuff in your face, being lazy, coming up with excuses, guess what? They're going to do it as well. So for me, it's like that is the biggest inspiration. That's the biggest reason to actually make those small changes. And it doesn't have to be huge, like we've talked about today. And like I'm always going on about, just make small changes and make them consistent and actually do them, and do it for some, a lot of people let themselves down, especially I think guys are quite good at letting themselves down, or sort of beating themselves up a little bit, or putting others before them. And I think sometimes we do need to focus on ourselves a little bit and actually say, like we said right at the very start of this conversation, is if you're a better version of yourself, you're giving more to everybody else around you, but you're also showing more to everybody as well. So when you stand up in a meeting and talk to people, they'll see the people that are looking after themselves versus the people who aren't looking after themselves, just in the way you stand in a room.
Yeah, well, I totally get it. And the way you react, the way you listen, the way you interact with people, if you've got that energy and you've got a positive outlook, it rubs off. It does. Now, sometimes people don't want it. No, people don't. I've always said, they say about Marmite, I think I'm more like sugar. Now, we all like a bit of sugar, and then we think it's not good for you. So, like, Jordan, I'm not interested in your positivity. Like, go away. And I get it. I really do get it. But I'm not going to change who I am, because why that person's got frustrated by it, the next one needs a little bit of sugar. They need a bit of an energy boost. And that's okay. I can reflect on it going, it's not everyone's cup of tea today. That's all right. So, I think that's right. It does breed the right type of responses.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I want to ask you, so we've obviously rattled through a bit of time here. Is there any particular person or podcast or book or, somebody that's kind of gives you a great influence that you would sort of care to mention, or you think is worth mentioning?
I'll be honest with you, like, people, there's something about human beings that is so interesting. And I've always found human beings fascinating, regardless if their outlook is negative or positive, whatever it is. You generally, I'm intrigued by it. So I follow people, a lot of people in the fitness world, whether they're in the public eye and they're known worldwide, to locals. There's some outstanding coaches doing different type of kind of performance coaching to PTs, like locally in Bristol where I am, and they don't have the millions of followers, but what they are doing is something special. They're earning a living, they're grafting to earn a living, but the people they're inspiring, like they're improving their lives. So that's the people that inspire me. I love to see people. I love to see Paul. I love to see you doing well. I like to see people who are working hard to give other people a better future. So that inspires me. So human beings, I can go kickboxing and be inspired by the children I teach, and they have no idea that I walk away like with a big smile, even though I've been disciplined in telling them off and not doing this, not doing that. It makes me feel amazing. And then I go in straight in from the kids to the adults class, and then you can have a little bit more of a tongue-in-cheek type of relationship, but they're looking at you, and you don't realize that they look at you because I was that young kid looking at my instructor. So my first instructor, I believe he was the first real hero, like the real hero. I looked at him and I thought he could do anything. And sadly, he passed away like 25 years ago. And I teach the kickboxing club like he teaches, a very community, family feel, and everyone's a part, everyone's respecting each other, no matter what age, what sex you are. And it's leading. And so I get inspiration by the newcomers in my classes to someone that's been there for 15 years. And like, you can still interact and talk to him. And it gives me a buzz. Like the circuit classes, very quick So a lady came maybe about a year ago, and she basically said, I can't do any exercise, can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. And she was right at the very beginning of her fitness journey. And a few months ago, she's been coming for a year, and she's a really funny character. Coming for a year, and my stepson and his friend came in, who were 20 years old. They came in. Stepson's very fit. His mate likes to exercise, but certain type. Circuit classes, when we did the core exercises, he struggled. And halfway through the session, he said, maybe I'm doing it wrong. Everyone's doing it. And he pointed to this lady who's in her mid-40s, and she is just doing them 30 seconds, 45 seconds over and over again. And he said, well, how can she do it and I can't do it? And the week after, I told her, I said, that 20-year-old was inspired by you. And look where you were a year ago. She said, really? And then you're looking at her and she's trying the harder stuff again. And for me, I've got a big cheesy grin on my face going, this is amazing. Yeah. So that inspires me, really. So I've had people in my life that weren't aware how impactful they are. I'll be honest, my brother, we did judo from a very young age, being very competitive, and he was always better than me. And he's a year old, he used to drive me nuts. But it actually lifted me to kind of keep trying to get to there. And then we went different paths, different sports, and he was always competitive, and it was more a bit of banter, really. You know, I did football, he did rugby, but he was that first kind of competitive edge that you were all inspired to catch up. So even as I was little, there was always someone there that was kind of pushing me forward without them even knowing. And there's still people doing it now. They don't know they're inspiring me. And human beings do it. So that's kind of a long-winded way of saying everybody, Paul, inspires me.
Yeah, I love that answer, because it's all too easy to pick a celebrity or someone famous. But actually, we're never going to probably be in the room with them. We're never going to shake hands with them, never going to talk to them. But those people you actually interact with, perfect. That's the perfect inspiration, isn't it? And you're probably inspiring them, and they may never tell you, or they might only tell you once. But that's great. Yeah, I really like that.
That's okay. So you're putting yourself in a position to hopefully help somebody, and you do get the odd gems, and you get the little messages and stuff like that. But there's been thousands of people walk through our kickboxing doors. He's 37 years old. I've been involved for 33, 34 years maybe. So you've touched base with thousands of people. Yeah. I couldn't tell you what those thousands of people have said about our lovely little club or my circuit class, positive or negative. But someone's passed on something good, and that may have shared with somebody else and made them feel good. So as long as the ripple effect's positive, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, no, perfect. Yeah, I love that. Are you still okay for time? Because we've sailed through. So
for the moment, yeah.
Good stuff. So I wanted to ask you then, around those sort of this whole subject of energy and focus and health on a daily basis. Have you got any daily non-negotiables that you always aim to deliver on?
I think sleep is recognizing things are getting late. Your busy household chores, and like I said, I get up early. So I set an alarm, and I always wake up before my alarm. And I think, well, I'm up now, so I get on and do things. Which actually, if I do certain things around the house, quiet chores, I'm not going to be doing the hoovering with everybody. But that sets me up to then maybe go to the gym even before I start work, like everybody else does. Do a few emails. So I try and start my day in the same way that actually clears my head. Where I've sent 6 or 7 emails at 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. I've planned my day, then I've gone off to the gym and I'm back in front of my laptop, unless I'm traveling somewhere else or around Europe with work. I think once if I get on top of that, which is what I feel I need to do, I feel like it's kind of stress-free. The little things you need to do don't become a chore because they're only small things. You're not coming home from work like that. So many people do because of habit, going, I'll do that later. And then at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, you're then rushing around trying to do things. 8:30 at night, I'm relaxed. I'm on the sofa. I'm chatting to the older ones about what happened at school, and and my partner, we've got something on TV, and we're just unwinding. But come 10 o'clock, I'm saying it's time for bed. Actually, no matter how fit I am, I still mid-40s. I still would doze off having a conversation. I mean, have a power nap. So yeah, I think sleep's really important. It's doing what you need to do in the day, but knowing that I'm going to bed, I need some rest, and rarely have a bad night's sleep. Rarely have a bad night's sleep, and I always feel refreshed in the morning. I've got loads of energy, no matter how much exercise. People assume you're going to be tired and fatigued. Your muscles feel it, your tendons and your ligaments, whatever exercise you're doing. But I've always got bags of energy.
Yeah, I think sleep, I mean, that rounds us off quite nicely with my 4 pillars, because it is incredibly important. It's where all your real growth is done. It's where your recovery is done. It's where your body can, fill your muscles again and get ready to go again. So, and I think part of the knack of getting sleep right is having a regular cycle of some kind, whatever that is. It could be 4 a.m. alarm and go to bed at 8, or it could be go to bed at 10, get up at 6, whatever it is. I think regularity is what's going to win through in the end. And most of the guys that I've worked with who struggled in that area with going to sleep or waking up in the night, if we can get them doing some exercise, sleep improves, because your body's then in recovery mode. So
Definitely.
It needs to sleep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we've had a great conversation. I'm really conscious of eating up lots of your valuable time, so I think we'll wrap it up there. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you or find out about your kickboxing or your circuits class, and is there anything you want to kind of share that you're sort of working on or doing, how people get in touch with you?
Yeah, so no, if you want to know through the kickboxing, we've got a Facebook page, Panthers Kickboxing. Give us our page a like and drop us a message if you're interested in coming, or just for some details. Exercise wise, my Instagram is about being positive and a bit jokey. There's nothing more than that really, but I share lots of kind of circuit routines and stuff. So they want to get hold of me, it's Mr. Geordie Bryant on Instagram. Stuff that I'm working on right now. I'm actually I've just started talking to the local support group for the local council, where they're looking to do a 6-week boot camp followed by a 6-week self-defense class. It's going to be free to the local area. So I think that's looking to start at some point in April, and then 6 weeks of one of the courses and 6 weeks after, looking to be outdoors, near where I'm living right now. So we're just finalizing things, but it gives a little bit back to the community at the same time. And so if anyone's interested, I can share the details of what that looks like at the same time. But yeah, you want to talk about student accommodation through LinkedIn, give me a shout and see what we can do.
Yeah, awesome. And that sounds really good. I like the idea of that the boot camps, and I think a lot more businesses are starting to come around to thinking now and understanding that if they can energize their people and encourage a bit of exercise and encourage healthy eating, then actually they get a healthier workplace and a better mental health vibe, and
That's
just
right.
happier.
That's right. But I think your assessment on life is different, and I think how you treat people is totally different as well. When you're tired and fatigued, you're misreading an email, what someone said, a comment, and then there's conflict for it. Actually doesn't need to happen. Be a bit more relaxed, be better on yourself, be a better human being.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. Cool. And I highly recommend people reach out to Jordan, especially for the kickboxing and those circuits. They look really good fun. The videos, I look forward to seeing those on Instagram every week.
More than welcome.
Yeah, cool. And just to drop in there that some exciting news. So I run Dad's strength and fitness classes in Bristol, in Bradley Stoke, and at the end of the month, I'm moving with my studio partner to a brand new premises in Aztec West. We've got almost double the floor space, so I've got more capacity to take more guys on. So if you're at all interested and you're around the north part of Bristol where the M5 and M4 cross over, have a little look on that website there. Get in touch. You get a first session for free, so you can come along and just try it for free. Meet me, see the gym. Yeah, come along and get a good strength workout. And I've got 25 regulars that come through the week now, and we've got a really nice community, and we have a good laugh in the room. It's a safe space. There's loads of help in the room, and you get a bloody good workout as well. So if you're in Bristol and you're interested in that, then have a look on that link there. Cool. Thanks a lot, Jordan. Really appreciate your time. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. Really good conversation.
Thanks for the invite, mate. I really appreciate it, and good luck with everything you do.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. All right. Bye, everyone.
Cheers.